I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. There's a rainbow. Can you see that? Where is it? The rainbow is a symbol of hope that, metaphysically and mythically, I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. I promise it's there. So I'm gonna look at it. The rainbow represents hope that at a time when all that no longer could serve was destroyed. And the promise that in the story that God made to his people, and again, for those of you who may not relate to this story, think of it metaphorically, mythically, that every time we saw a rainbow, it was a promise that all truly was well. And the promise of a rainbow is that even in the dark, after the darkest time, even after the storms of life, that there's a restoration, that there's a power within each one of us, restoring us back to our natural state of wholeness and more, not just restoring, but there's a renewing, there's a transforming, there's a greater calibration, that we've been recalibrated so often. After storms, when you think about it, all the debris is cleaned out, the air is fresh. We've had rain here. Last night it was just raining so hard. It was like coming sideways, hitting our windows. And this morning it's so crisp and clean and fresh, and there's a coolness to the air. And the rainbow represents that in us. So often with our dreams, people have the illusion, the mistaken illusion, that a dream means that everything's going to be easy and great. And it's like people look to their dreams to fix things. And here's the deal. The minute you start thinking something bigger and more expansively than anything you've ever known for yourself before, everything unlike where you're going, what you're creating, and who you're becoming has got to rise up. Matt, yes, it's beautiful, Matt. Go out and look, Matt. There's a rainbow. If you can see it from your office or wherever you are. But the gift of the rainbow reminds us that, when you're in the thick of it, and so often when you're really going for that thing that, you just long for, it's understanding that everything unlike that dream and who you are to grow to be has got to come up. It's got to come up for release and repatterning. You can't take old elements of yourself with you as you step into this new expanded version of your life. And sometimes it can feel like such a storm. Like there's these two parts of you that are just fighting. And it's just like, the wind and the thunder and it just feels pretty icky on the inside. But if you can trust the process, nature has so many beautiful examples that show us that, so much beauty comes out of the chaos. The rainbow comes out of the storm. If you can stay with it and trust that it doesn't mean that you're on the wrong path, that when there's that internal struggle of stepping into something that you've never known for yourself before, letting go of old patterns that are no longer serving you, trusting that even though you can't see it, there is something so much bigger, so much more expansive, so much more effective that's seeking to make itself known, that you will stay present for it and be available for the miracle that happens afterwards. It's really, wow, look, maybe you can see it now. I don't know if you can see that or not, but man, I just turned the corner. And it's beautiful. Oh, it's a complete rainbow. There's a whole, I am bringing to you live a whole rainbow. There it is. There, you can see it. You can see it. I don't think you can see all of it. Completeness, wholeness. It's fascinating because when I stepped out of what I was doing before to start this iteration of my work, there was so much about me that had to change. I had to gain a greater degree of confidence. I had to gain a greater degree of boldness. I had to learn how to be an employer. I had to learn how to hire and fire people, or how to train people and be there for my employees. You know, I had to learn how to deal with more money. I was a school teacher and a minister. You know, I had a certain amount that I got every month, and you know, and I had to make my life fit around that. And as crazy as it sounds, as I stepped into doing this work and serving you in your dream, I had to learn how to allow myself a greater degree of abundance. And holy cow, did I bump up against edges with that of what would people think, and I'm being egotistical and I'm being selfish. Never mind the fact that it now gives me an opportunity to be able to contribute highly to organizations that I love. But that storm doesn't make any sense. That storm inside that gets activated the moment you start dreaming into something more expansive. It doesn't make any sense. And the beauty of it is that you stay focused on the thing that brings you most alive. And now it's starting to rain a little bit. You stay focused on the thing that brings you most alive, and you understand that that dream is not your dream. My dream to do this work to serve you, this isn't my dream. It's the universe's dream dreaming through me. That I don't have this dream. You know, in the words of Prince EU, this dream has me. And when we answer the call, it's a calling. There's a stewardship. There's an accountability to it. We're not just answering the call for the result. You're answering the call for the process of transformation. And that's the piece that most people miss, is that they think it's this warm and fuzzy and give me the results and then my life will be okay. Your life is okay, number one, right now. And it becomes even more okay when you're willing to enter into the process, because you discover what's real and what's true. And as you discover what's real and what's true, and you allow yourself to be transformed at depth as a result of your yes to this more expanded version of your life, this is what the miracle is hanging out on the other side. This is your rainbow. So where are those edges that you're bumping up against that you wonder if you really got what it takes? Or it's like, oh my God, I don't want to give that part of me up. It's I trust that part of me. That part of me defines me. Or even if you know you want to give it up but you don't know how, share that in the comments and let's do some work around that, knowing that is the master move, to recognize your edges, recognize the places where you're holding on to, recognizing the resistance of wanting to transform this part of you, and to be willing to be in the storm, stay in the storm, knowing that there is a power so much bigger than anything you could ever imagine doing the work in and for you. All you got to do is show up and then be present for the rainbow. Be present for the rainbow. This place of deep peace and deep well-being, deep knowing, that then allows you to be present for the experience of your transformed results, knowing that your life is not fixed now because of it, but that you are transformed and now you're able to be present for it. And truly, this is how you bring your greatest contribution. All right, so share those edges that you're experiencing. Thank you for coming on my hike this morning. I got a little bit of morning hair going on, getting ready to go speak to an amazing community in Wausau, Wisconsin, of all places. My sort of old stomping grounds. Grew up in Wisconsin, very long time ago. But share the edges that you're bumping up against, that you would love support to stay in the storm, to let this life force energy do its work in you to transform you so you can step into this life that's calling you and asking you to allow a greater degree of abundance and fulfillment to express through you and by means of you in order for you to serve everyone around you. Have a fabulous day. Deeply love and appreciate you. Mwah. God bless.